Hello and welcome to another episode of The Writing Finger. This is going to be a very, very unique and interesting episode where we're going to talk about books that describe unique experiences. And as always, I'm joined today by my friend and fellow book nerd and author, Ashwin Karthik. And today, as we mentioned, we're going to talk about unique experiences. And what do I mean by unique experiences? We're going to talk about books that provide a different shade, a different perspective of life. I mean, we all live just one life, and there's only one perspective as far as we are concerned. But books offer us a different angle, a different view of life, which is totally different, and it changes the way we look at life. That's the beauty of reading. That's the beauty of books, and I'm sure Ashwin, you'd agree that books are basically the way we explore life from another person's point of view.
There's no two ways about it, Subramani, because books are the medium that let us explore the world in so many ways. If you talk about history books, you can get a sneak peek into what the past holds for us. If you talk about fiction,
Yeah.
you can see how an author takes you into his or her imagination. How he or she sees the world
Yes.
differently. It could be fantasy, it could be the real world in which
Yes.
he or she creates their own characters and makes them do things me and you cannot even imagine, right?
But
So,
we'll have to agree to the fact that the original idea basically comes from a real world, even a fantasy story like Harry Potter, for example. I think you've got one of
abs-
the Harry Potters lined up, and I would like to say
yes,
before you start with Harry Potter, that I was always intrigued by Washington Irving's Rip Van Winkle. Very simple story, but is there any better way of telling people that if you withdraw yourself from the mainstream of the society, if you just isolate yourself and get into your own shell, by the time you come back, the world will be a totally different place. I think that was a very scary thought, but at the same time, it also talks about why we should be in touch with today's reality, especially the relevance of this story in today's changing technological landscape. Yesterday we had a smartphone. Today we have facial recognition and artificial intelligence. Tomorrow we don't know what we're going to have. So that's when we talk about not getting into the Rip Van Winkle syndrome, right?
you're absolutely right. You know, uh, as they say, if the world could be your oyster. This phrase or this the saying holds so good true with not only many aspects of life, but also with writing. Because once an author, puts himself or herself into his own shell,
Yeah.
then what he or she imagines becomes their world, and then they pen down all these pearls of stories, if I may say so, that they pull out from the depth of their oceans of imagination. And
Yeah.
you have given me the right segue, through which I now will talk about the first book I want to
Yeah.
talk about in this
Yes.
topic that is, as you mentioned, will be Harry Potter because, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
always felt, and I know that many people who have read or seen the movie of Harry Potter will agree with me when I say that Rowling took a lot of, you know, points or tools from
Yeah.
the real world that me, you, and everyone live in today to
Yes.
to to put or convey her story. or tell her story in a very, very different and imaginative and beautiful manner. Because, just to quote one example, there is a scene in one of the books, the Harry Potter series,
Yeah.
wherein, or to be more specific,
Yeah.
the first part itself, we see or we have read the train, about the train that they, takes Harry to the
The Hogwarts
the
Express.
Hogwarts school, and at the
Cool.
yes,
Yeah.
the Hogwarts Express. Now look at the scenario. We all of us, most of us, would have traveled in a train, and in our childhoods, I'm sure we would have imagined, if this
Yes.
train could take us to some wonderland. But it was Rowling who actually took that thought and started a magical series that became a bestseller of all time. When you
Absolutely. I agree that, when you're talking about this, I was thinking about the train that goes inside the children's playing area in Kaban Park.
exactly,
That is
exactly,
that is basically, our Hogwarts Express. When we
yes,
were all children, we definitely would have boarded a similar kind of a train, and then we imagine going to a magical land.
absolutely. And when you talk about the platform, you know. So the platform is such a beehive of activity in the real world of a railway station, and
Yes,
then she takes us to a platform called 9 3/4.
nine and
Just
three quarters is
just
very
think
funny.
about it, right?
Yes.
Uh, can you imagine a platform in the real world that is named 9 3/4? We
Do
always,
you know something? I'll tell you. When I get into
yeah,
Madras Central Station,
mm-hmm,
there's a platform called 2A,
right.
where you have Shatabdi Express starting from Bangalore. And when I look at the 2A, I always have a feeling that I was getting into the nine and the three quarters.
Isn't it right? Absolutely,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
that is one experience. When I read or watch the series, I
yeah.
I I let myself float into the Hogwarts experience with Rowling and Harry Potter. I mean Harry Potter and Rowling herself. So what do you have? Which book
Yeah,
do
I
you
would
want to talk
like to
about
talk
now?
about a nonfiction actually. And last year, I was just flipping through the releases, and I came across this very interesting title called Desperately Seeking Shah Rukh Khan. I was thinking, what is this? I mean, there can't be a nonfiction on a topic like this unless it happens to be some kind of a biography or some kind of a memoir surrounding someone's experiences with Shah Rukh Khan. And then I started reading the book, and I realized, so this book was about the common experiences of thousands of women who have the secret love affair or romance with Shah Rukh Khan, and use that as an escape route from whatever the kind of tyranny that they live in. Some of them live in a very conservative rural background where they're not allowed to get out of their houses, and they don't have money to watch a movie or whatever. So all of this put together, they find a kind of a freedom. They experience a kind of a freedom in this larger than life figure called Shah Rukh Khan. That was an extremely interesting interpretation of a very ordinary experience in India. I mean, going to a movie is an extremely ordinary experience in India, and I never thought that there would be a kind of an interpretation like that. Can you imagine?
Very interesting. It's so true that in a country like India, it is so relatable because we as people look at celebrities who are so close to us, the roles they play in the movies, or even sportsmen like
Exactly.
Tendulkar,
Exactly.
Virat Kohli, we get attached to them so much that we actually feel that they are family. For
Absolutely.
example, just to
Mm.
tell you, when I was young, and if I would watch Tendulkar get out cheaply, I
Yeah.
wouldn't eat my lunch or dinner the whole day, and my mother would,
Yes.
pray every day that the India was playing a match, that Tendulkar scores some
Poor
runs.
guy. Imagine,
Yeah,
how would he have thought that he was depriving you of your food by
you
getting
know.
out cheaply, maybe for a good ball. You never know.
Yeah, but at that age,
Yes,
I did not
of
give
course.
that
Yeah,
thought because that he got out to a beautiful delivery. For me, my day was done, right? And
I
look, it
understand
gets
that.
served and I don't eat. So my parents
Of
would
course,
pray.
yes. You connect with that larger than life figure. His success is yours, and you want him
Yeah,
to succeed, and you know that he will succeed. It's like someone who's possessing the magic potion in a video game of kind,
yeah.
who's got the magical key to open all the kingdoms and
Uh,
all the blocks and the
you
obstacles.
see him as a superhero,
Absolutely, you do that,
right? So
and when he fails, that's kind of personally hurting you because it's your failure. It's you who's
exactly,
that happens
exactly.
with cricket matches with any kind of sport. When you look at a sport, you know that when a guy you support fails, I think it's if you're failing, you feel bad
Yeah,
because you think you're failing. I think that sort of
exactly.
feeling comes to us, and
Yes.
that experience is not only relatable, but I think we see a different kind of a level, different kind of a perspective of that particular experience in this book. And ironically, this is written by a social economist, Shreyana Bhattacharya. And I think what she observed when she was doing her research was something that is kind of given uh, the idea for this book. And this is fantastic read. And yeah, so these are absolutely different experiences of life, and we can't definitely discount disability in this aspect, isn't it? I mean, not that many people in this world understand the disability perspective of life itself.
Absolutely. Again, you're so right. And you again have given me the perfect segue to, talk about the next book that I wanted to bring in to focus in this episode of ours. And that is called The Grit to the Vishwas Story. This graphic novel that I read last
Hmm.
year.
Hmm.
The book, it was written by V.R. Feroz. Yes. So this book called Grit, the Vishwas story, is
Yeah.
about a young man. He might be around his early 30s now, and how he unfortunately was subject to a freak electric accident during his teenage, and which resulted in both his arms and hands from the shoulder had to be amputated to save his life. He um, he got electrocuted by a public power source, and
Okay.
both his arms have to be executed. And and if that was not enough, his
Hmm.
father, who was with him on the terrace of his house, he tried to save him, and he fell down from the top of the house, and he met a
Okay.
fatal accident. Now,
All right.
how that boy, fought all the odds and
Hmm.
became a para athlete, a para swimmer to be more precise, how
Wow.
he made that fight back, and he won India many laurels both nationally and internationally, is the book all about.
Absolutely.
And that is not all.
Well.
He
Hmm.
also became a trained dancer who
Yeah.
represents India globally.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
if that is not enough, he
Hmm.
learned karate and became a black belt karate champion. Now,
Karate champion.
so
Whoa.
that book called Grit
Hmm.
the Vishwas story tells you a very unique and a heartfelt experience of a man, and that tells the world that if the right determination and the discipline is given in the right
Absolutely.
direction, anything is possible.
There's a couple of things. You can actually look at this as a disability story. That's what everybody does. But in reality, everybody has a setback. All of us have a setback of some kind, whether you are able-bodied or disabled. And when you have this setback, there's always a way that you can think about your life in a different perspective. That's what books like these talk about, right? This is not just about a person with disability. It's not in a kind of a heart-tugging emotional story, but this is basically a story of someone who had the ability to rethink and repurpose his own life to create something magical out of it.
And he is evolved as a new human. It was,
Absolutely,
as they
absolutely.
say, rising from the ashes like
Just like
a
a phoenix. Yeah,
phoenix, right? Yes.
absolutely. Mm.
So,
It is a good book. Thank you for that suggestion. And I'm sure all of you who are watching this will have something unique in the kind of books that you read and something that you can connect with. So mention that in the comments, the kind of books that you think tell a very, very unique perspective or a unique experience of life that you kind of connect with and you enjoyed reading. And I'm sure you'll have a fantastic week ahead in terms of your reading activities. And let us connect on another episode. And thank you from my side.
thank,
Goodbye.
thank you again. Till we meet next time. Keep reading, keep commenting, keep watching us. See you soon. Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye.